Well, good day to everyone, and welcome to this Manage Engine webinar. Uh, like always, I'm very excited to bring new and updated information to everyone. And I think today we have another compelling topic. You know, Active Directory has been around for a long time. We're pushing 18 years. And for those of us that have been dealing with Active Directory for most of that time, really Active Directory and our organizations haven't been wiped clean. So we have a lot of things in Active Directory that are stale, and what we want to do as administrators is we want to clean them up, but we really don't want to take the time to do it on a daily or even weekly basis. So what I want to show you today are some things that you can do to go in and clean up all the things in Active Directory that really point to some security issues. Because of course, cleaning up something just to clean up something may not be worth it, but certainly if it's something that is exposing security, we want to take some action on that. Let me go over some logistics for the webinar first. There are some colleagues of mine that are answering questions in the background, and I thank them for that, so please take advantage of that. We will be answering questions in line as we go through the webinar. So use your GoToWebinar panel, and if you have any questions, ask those and they will take care of those. This is being recorded, so please keep an eye out in the next couple of days for a email that'll have a link to the recording. I've already received some emails this morning from people that had conflicts. So if you have people that you work with that you want to share this information with, please share that with them so they can have the information. Also, if you want to come back and review anything, that link will be available to you as well, so you can go back and review it. And I think that's about it. Let me give you some information about me for those of you that have never met me or heard me talk. Again, my name is Derek Melber. I am the technical evangelist for the AV Solutions team here at Manage Engine. I've been an MVP for the better part of the 2000s, both in Active Directory and group policy. I also want to point you to some resources that I have available to you. The first resource that I want to point you to, actually, all three of them are on our website. So I'm going to jump out to our website here and just kind of go over some resources. The first resource I want to point you to is our blog. So if you go to support, just on our main landing page there, manageengine.com, you can go to our blogs, and of course, since we're dealing primarily with Active Directory, you can actually come in here and just do a search on Active Directory, and you will find all of the blogs that are related to Active Directory. So here's one on best practices, approval workflow. There's so many different things that we write about, and these are things that are available to you absolutely free of charge. So come, and really the blogs are written to take up no more than 5 minutes of your time, because we really want to be efficient when communicating with you, because we know your time is valuable. The second thing I want to point you to is if you come and you hover over products, you'll see a security hardening for Active Directory link. This security hardening page was built about 2 years ago, and this is an unbelievable resource for you to come and really learn more about how to secure your Active Directory environment, learn more about Microsoft's JIT and GIA technology and why those may not be best for you, and really how this page may be something that's good for you. If you're dealing with a compliance regulation, a security audit for Active Directory, these bottom areas, if you highlight any one of them, you will see that there are blogs that help you basically report, analyze, and configure these particular security areas. And then we actually go 2 steps further than what most audit programs want, and we actually provide monitoring and alerting guidance as well. So this is a really, really good resource. This is literally 15 years of me working with securing and auditing Active Directory, and it's all in one location for you. The other resource that I want to point you to is actually a white paper. So if you come in here to identity password management under products, and then you go to documents, you should see that there is a white paper link. And here under the white paper, this was written earlier this year in 2017. And this is a very good resource for you to read, get updated on passwords, how you can improve passwords, really share it with other people in your organization so your organization can improve your overall passwords. And it's an easy read. It's just a white paper. It isn't a book. So something that's really useful for you to look at. Finally, the resource I want to point you to is my email. You have my email. You have other people on the AD Solutions email. You have the AD Solutions events team email. Please email us. I cannot stress enough how important it is for us on the Active Directory team here to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your difficult questions. We want to hear things that we possibly can help you with, whether it be for products or not. It really doesn't matter to us. We just want to help in any way that we can. Finally, I do want to point out something, which is our world tour. We've kind of taken a little bit of a break in the summer, but we will be ramping this back up to finish off our 2017 world tour. I think we've been to about 15 countries already, about 12 to 15 anyway. In 2017, and we will continue that world tour. I know that we're coming back to London. We're going to a couple of cities in Italy. We'll be in Denmark. We'll be back in Israel. And I'm sure I'm missing some cities. We'll be in Poland. So please keep an eye out for us. We love to meet anyone that's related to Active Directory and talk to you and hear about your issues, and it allows us to gain more information, and hopefully we can share some things with you that help you out as well. So with that, I am going to jump into the material that we're going to talk about today, which is cleaning up Active Directory. Now, when we talk about cleaning up Active Directory, we have to get grounded as a foundation on what exactly I'm talking about. So what I'm talking about are those areas in Active Directory which could potentially expose some type of security breach, some type of security hole, something related to access into Active Directory, to files, to folders, to other servers, something on the network which we didn't want someone to have access to, but because we didn't clean up Active Directory, that was exposed. So for example, let's just talk about the idea of computers. Now, we as admins, we feel we have a pretty good idea of what's on our network and where things are, but things can get big. Things can project. We can get focused on things that are kind of out of the bounds on what's really going on the network. So say, for example, that a developer is working on a project, and they're working on a project for a particular application, and the application requires certain hardware. So the developer goes out and buys a new computer and puts it on the network. Now, we were told about this, but let's say that the developer finishes the project, and now that computer is sitting out there on the network. Well, that computer may be sitting on the network. We knew about it, but we forgot about it. So potentially this computer is something that is an inactive computer. No one is logged onto this computer. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important because sometimes when we don't deal with objects, physical or logical, inside of Active Directory, those objects can sit there and we don't patch them. We don't update group policy to them. Maybe they aren't even joined to the domain, so these are things that we're going to have to do out of band, right? If we have a computer that isn't joined to Active Directory, then obviously group policy from Active Directory won't affect that computer. We knew the computer was there, so why is it on the network? So the idea is that we want to find inactive computers that are in Active Directory. Now, of course, you want to find computers that aren't in Active Directory as well, but we want to find computers that were in Active Directory but really haven't been used. Why are they still there? So this idea of finding things is our first step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you how to find things in Active Directory, and then we'll move on to the automation piece. So let's first of all move on to this idea of being able to find things in Active Directory. So I'm going to come here to a computer report, and I'm going to look at inactive computers. Now, the idea is, first of all, that we want to be able to quickly generate these types of reports. So here you can see a list of computers. The last time they logged on, a 0 means they were never even logged into, of computers that aren't really being used. So the idea here, first of all, is we can get a list of computers that have never even been used. So why are they even in Active Directory? And then we can actually go back in time. So we can say, okay, the last month, what's a list of computers that haven't been used? So here's that list. Now, not only do we want the ability to produce the list, we don't want to have to take screen captures. We want to be able to provide something to someone, let's say a manager, let's say someone in security or audit, in an easy to use format. So inside of the tools that I'm going to show you, you want to be able to export things easily so they can be read. So I would say that either a PDF or HTML is excellent for someone that's going to read this report. Now, if you, as the administrator, want to consume this information, you can get CSVs or Excel spreadsheet type formats that you can then massage and you can manipulate the data. So what I want to point out at first is the ability to generate reports on things that are hard to generate, the ability to have the flexibility to generate the reports over time, and then also to export the reports. Now, I jumped into AD Manager Plus pretty quickly, but let's try to solve this using Microsoft tools. So here I am inside of Active Directory users and computers, and I want to get a list of computers that are inactive, meaning a list of computers that over the last 30 days, no one has logged into them. I don't think it's possible. Now, of course, we have these saved queries, and if I produce a new saved query and I go to computers, I don't see any way to get a listing of computers that haven't been logged into in the last 30 days. Now, if you're familiar with this idea of saved queries, you can do custom searches and you can create your own LDAP query. Is it possible to get a list of computers that haven't logged on in the last 30 days? Sure, it's possible. But let's just do a quick comparison. Would you rather go investigate this LDAP query, and then every time you want to run it, you have to come in here and click on it? Or would you rather have the option to come in here to a tool and you click once, you click twice, you click 3 times, you modify if you need, and then you click to produce the report? Oh, and by the way, we're also going to be able to schedule. I'm not going to jump into that just yet, but you're going to be able to schedule everything that I'm showing you here. This is the automation piece, okay? So what we need as administrators, what we need for other users that are helping us with security and audit, is we need to be able to get the information into a readable format in such a way, and here's the important thing, that they don't come ask us for it. Why should someone sit outside of our door asking us for reports when you can just generate this information in an automated way? Now, let's talk about disabled computers. So inactive computers are computers that are still active, but no one's really used. But we all know that there are computers on the network which have been disabled. Now, if we come here to our saved queries, okay, now we're going to invert it. Instead of going to AD Manager, we're first going to come into Active Directory. I can actually create a new query, disabled computers, and quickly, right, disabled accounts. Boom, there's my disabled account. Now, this is something that's easy to see, really not the most impressive thing to get a report from, but what I could do is I could export the list. and I could export the list in tab delimited or comma delimited. Again, maybe not the best format. So yes, I can do this quickly in Active Directory users and computers. But what I'm going to suggest to you is that if you have the correct reporting tool, right? There's my DLM3. I can now export this as a PDF and make it available to someone in a more readable format. I could also schedule this report, right? So that disabled computers is something that is easily generated. So now, instead of having to go into Active Directory users and computers, even instead of having to go into AD Manager Plus, I have the disabled computers. I'm going to produce this monthly into an HTML format, and then I can specify who I send the report to. Oh, now do you get the idea? I mean, if I just need a report once, sure, I can fight to get the report. But if I need to get a report over and over again, why would I ever want to work at this? Why not just send an email to someone that needs the report weekly, monthly, even daily, and just have a tool do that for me? Now, I don't want to show my hand, but I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, look at this list of things that you can generate reports for. I mean, I can get a daily report emailed to someone in audit on every user that's created on a daily basis. Tell me your auditors don't want this type of information. Tell me your security folks don't want this. Tell me your boss doesn't want this. There are so many parts of Active Directory which are important to know what's going on, as well as what we're dealing with today, which is cleanup to make sure things are secured. So starting off with computers is pretty obvious, but now let's move to user accounts. And what I want to do is I want to move to one of the things that really I stumbled upon in the last couple of years that is a glaring security issue that we must address. Now, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the report that I'm going to generate, which is a report of users that have never logged on. Now, you may be thinking, oh, okay, so there's users that have never logged on. Is that really a big deal? Well, let me take 3 steps back and then explain to you why this report is so vital to you. And I have to do that by going into the methodology that we use to create users. So I'm going to come back over here to Active Directory users and computers. And let's say it's a Monday morning, it's 8 o'clock, and you receive your list of users that you must create for the new employees that are going to start for the week. Okay. Now, it may happen on Friday before, may happen on Monday. I don't know when it happens. I know that it happens. So you go into your list of new employees and you create, by going to Active Directory users and computers, new user, and you create your new users, right? So let's say that we create, let's see, I don't know if I have a Ben in here, okay? So we come in here and we create the new user, and then we have to give the user a password. Now, because we're creating 10 users at the same time, which password do you use? Now, not only are we creating the 10 users at the same time, these are new employees. So the new employees have to have some starting password. I'm going to guess that everyone, maybe except for 5% of you on this webinar, use the exact same password for all new users. Now think about this. If you use the same password for all new users, what's the security implication of that? Well, let's take the next couple of steps, okay? Now, I just created Ben. Ben is right here. After you create Ben, what do you do with Ben's account? Well, you go in and you add Ben to all the groups Ben needs to be part of, blah, blah, blah. All right, so now Ben is created along with your other 9 users. All those users have membership in groups. Those groups have access to resources. Now, what do? You wait for Ben to start. But how long is that time frame? Is that a week? Is that a day? Well, guess what? That user, the other 9 users, are now live in Active Directory. And who knows their password? Who knows how to log on as Ben? I'm going to guess everyone in Active Directory, right? Because everyone that started at the organization had the exact same password as Ben when they started. They know what that password is. So someone in the organization can now log on as Ben and gain access to everything that Ben has access to. This is a huge security issue. We need to know who has never logged on. Right here is Ben, right there. Okay? We have users that have never logged on back 3 years ago. This is a problem, okay? And these accounts are enabled. Can you generate this report without a tool like AD Manager Plus? Sure, right? I mean, I can go into Active Directory users and computers, and I can generate a list of users that have never logged on by creating a custom LDAP report. Right there it is. This is my custom LDAP query, right? I come in here and I refresh, and now I get users, even Ben. But I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to come in here and right-click and refresh and then right-click and export the list. I want to be able to have this generated automatically for me by scheduling this report. I can do this daily. I can do this weekly. I can email the important people that need to know this. This is the automation piece, okay? So what we need is we need tools that can help us secure our environments. We need tools that can help us maintain security, but we as admins need the tool to do the work for us. We just need the tool to help us, right? Expired user accounts. Now, the first step that we looked at with users are users that were created but never used. Now we're going to look at users that were created, but now the account shouldn't be used anymore because we expired it. These might be for contractors, maybe summer help, maybe interns, who knows what it is. But you have users inside of Active Directory, right? Right? AD reports, users, account expired users. These are users that their account expired. Now, I currently don't have any, but that's a good thing, right? I have cleaned up Active Directory. What you need to do is you need to take action on these users. Now, what we've looked at so far is the ability to manually generate reports and export. We also looked at the ability to generate reports through scheduled reports. I'm going to go one step further with you. Now let's talk about true automation. This automation isn't just generating reports. This automation is, I'm going to do something with these accounts, okay? Now, with these accounts, what I want to do is I want to take action on them. Now, what we're talking about are users that are disabled, okay? Or I'm sorry, their account is expired. So what I can do is I can produce a new automation, and I can say, I want to disable the accounts for users that their account is expired, okay? Now, I want you to think about this. I can do this daily. So I can go in and say, all right, I want to disable any user where their account is expired. Why is this important? Well, this is important because what we need is we need to clean up Active Directory. An account that is expired means that I can re-enable that account. But if I re-enable that account from expired, it's now enabled. It's not disabled. But if I disable the account and then someone puts the account back, it's still disabled. I know it sounds silly, but it's taking this cleanup to a new level, right? Now, could I do more with it? Could I do more than just disable it? Sure. I could actually go in and I can delete the account, right? I could go in and delete the account. So delete the user. So I could go to that level, but maybe I don't want to go to that level just yet, right? So the idea is we want to be able to look at an account, whether it's never been used, whether it's expired, or let's say that it's inactive. It's not expired, but it hasn't been used in a long time. These are three different types. What I'm trying to build for you is the idea that you, as the admin, get to control this. Now, let's move to our third type of user account. This is a user account that hasn't been used in a while, okay? So the account is really inactive. It's been used, so it's been logged on before. It's not expired, but no one has used it in a while. How long of a while? You get to choose, right? So I want to choose users that haven't logged on in 90 days. I want to exclude disabled and never logged on users because those are in a different report, okay? Now in this case, this is a list of those users. These are accounts, this one hasn't been used since 2014, since 2015, a couple of years. You're going to tell me that these accounts that are active in Active Directory, that aren't disabled, that haven't had their password changed in who's how long, aren't a security issue for you? I'm going to suggest you do the following. I'm going to suggest that you deprovision these users. See this right here? I have an automation for deprovision users securely. And the idea is that I want to take users that are inactive and I want to deprovision them securely daily. But wait a second. What does deprovision securely means? We have something called automation, which is what we're looking at now. And then we have policies that do multiple tasks. If you go look at my deprovision securely policy, it says that you are going to first move the user and disable the user, and then after 30 days, you're going to delete the user. Now, this is pretty awesome, okay? This is a set of actions that's occurring on your users that meet a certain criteria, which are inactive, and you're securing them, and you don't touch them. So the idea is that your automation here is daily looking at inactive users, moving them to a secure OU and disabling them. You are not putting that user out of commission. You're not completely removing that account. So now you could go in and you can move the user back to the live environment, enable it, and you didn't lose anything. We all understand that if you delete an account, you remove the SID. Removing the SID is the issue. So you have to recreate the world. What I'm saying is all you're doing is securing the environment. If you need to put the user back in action, you manually put it back in action, but the system is securing the environment for you, okay? So now we've looked at all the automation. Everything that I'm showing you here, you can set up automation to generate reports and to take action on these accounts. Now look at this one. This is even one step further. This is pretty cool. Now, most admins get a little frustrated with the fact that you have accounts that never expire. Now, of course, your own account isn't frustrating to you, but you have accounts that have set to never expire, and you know these are issues because password attacks are out there. Now, watch what I can do with something like this. I can come in to the tool and I can look at a report of accounts where the password never expires, okay? I then can select all of these or just choose the ones that I want, and I can reset the password globally. Now, tell me if this isn't pretty cool. Do you understand what I'm showing you here? I am taking the idea that you cannot do this in this environment, right? I cannot come into Active Directory users and computers, get a list of users, right? Multi-select list of users and reset their password. I can't do it. It's not available. In this environment, using the right tool, I can multi-select users and I can reset their password in one click. That is awesome. Now, could I automate this? Could I create a new automation that says I want to reset passwords based on accounts that meet certain criteria? Of course you can, right? It's all right here. Every bit of it, right? Users with passwords that never expire. Bingo, right? This is some awesome technology. This technology with the automation allows you to go in and deal with accounts. Now, I'm going to take you one step further. Notice how I'm building building blocks here. We went from a basic report. Now we're deep in an automation, focusing on the ability to reset passwords en masse. And I showed you the selection of users where the password never expires, but I can also add conditions. So I can say if the, let's see, the primary group, right? Or any other description, right? So we want to say the description is service account. We don't want service accounts. We want to eliminate service accounts from this. We don't want to break our service accounts. So I can even now add conditions, multiple conditions, to make sure that I am controlling my accounts precisely. And all I do is I set it up once and then I'm done. This is some amazing, powerful technology. You can now do things with a couple of clicks that if you try to use, and I'm going to say it, PowerShell, could you imagine how long it would take you to create a PowerShell commandlet to do these things? Could you imagine how long it would take to test this? These are things that you have exposure now to reports, and you get to leverage those reports, right? Last logon time. How many of you had to deal with the last logon time? This is cleaning up Active Directory. I can come into Active Directory AD Manager Plus. I can look at the last logon time, the real last logon time, and generate a report automatically, automating cleanup. So if someone hasn't logged on for the long time, let's disable them. Let's go clean them up, right? Password last change date. I want to make sure that I am getting the correct list of users for the password last change date. If they haven't changed their password in a certain time frame, then automate it to reset their password. This is going to help you secure by cleaning up Active Directory. Now let's talk about groups. We want to know empty groups. All of us that are Active Directory admins know that we have group bloat, right? We have groups without members. Well, let's take action on these, right? Let's generate this list every day. Let's automate this report so that we get a list of groups that are empty on a daily basis. Why do we want empty groups? They just take up room. Group members recursively. I have worked with so many administrators and auditors that struggle with this, right? So let's say that you're in the middle of an audit and you need to get a list of all of your groups that have privileges, administrative privileges. The very first one that's on your list, let's say, for example, is administrators, okay? It's a built-in group. This group in Active Directory has privileges. So now what you need to do is you need to get a list of all the users that are in the group to make sure it's correct. So you can come in here and you can go to properties and you can go to members. Now, the first roadblock that we have is we have no ability to produce a report from this, so we can do a screen capture. Unfortunately, this doesn't size, so we can't get a screen capture of all the members in one screen capture. We have to do multiple. But that's the first roadblock. The second is, well, we have groups in here. Well, those groups have members as well. So we could double click and we can go to those members and we could get a list of that. And then we have to go to this group and we have to go to that. Oh my gosh, how many screen captures do we end up with? How complex is this? Where's the option for give me the list of users recursively? Doesn't exist. Oh, could we use PowerShell? We could. I don't think I want to do that because now I have to type correctly. Let's just use tools, right? I just want to be able to go in and get a list of groups and their members. I want all the details of the users and groups that are in that group. Boom, generate it. There's my users. I want to be able to produce a PDF of it quick. Can I schedule this? Of course. Why not schedule it to do this daily? Put it in a location that your auditors and security professionals have access to, okay? These are things that we need to be successful. These are things that we need to be efficient. These are tools that we need to clean up and secure Active Directory. But it continues. Group policy. How complex is group policy? Now, I know some of you might be gurus, but even the gurus will admit group policy is pretty complicated. What do we need to do? We need to clean up GPOs that were created and never used. We need to clean up GPOs that are disabled. Why do we want them, right? I mean, why not have the ability to come in and get a report of GPOs that are disabled, that are unused, right? I mean, why not have the ability to get this information? And again, I'm not just saying click, click. I'm saying schedule this. Schedule these reports. Everything that I'm showing you, similar to the one report, can be scheduled. So schedule it and just let it go. Let the people that need the report be able to look at this when they want to look at it. Email them and tell them, hey, this report is out there. This is the power of a tool that can automate cleanup. Some of these things you want reports on so you can do it manually. Some of these things, like users, you want to be able to take immediate action and disable and move them so that they're secured. They're not wiped out, but they're secured. GPOs that aren't linked, in most cases, most, not all, we want to clean these up. We don't want them dangling out there, okay? Now I'm going to finish on something that I think is probably one of the most complicated aspects of Active Directory. Beyond the password policy, I would say delegation is one of the most complex aspects of Active Directory. Now, what is delegation? Let's just do a little remembrance of what this is. Inside of Active Directory, I have the ability to go to an OU, right? Let's say HR. Here are my users in HR, and I want my help desk, right? My HD techs to have the ability to reset passwords for everyone in HR. So what I can do is I can set up what's called delegation. Delegation allows me to add in my HD techs so that they can reset passwords for users that are in this OU, right? Done. But now that I have the delegation set up, how do I know what's there? What if I need to clean this up? How do I clean it up? Well, I could go into here and look at the properties, right? And I could see that the HD texts have some level of access. Then I have to go to advanced, and then under advanced, I have to go to HD text 3 different times to see this, right? So here's the send as option, which is different. I need to definitely clean that up, right? And this is the reset password. But how do I get a report of this? I mean, let's be real. This looks pretty complicated, right? I mean, look at all these. You're telling me that I have to go to advanced for all these? Well, no, you don't. And let me show you, first of all, a tool that you can use to help you see what's in delegations. And that's called DS ACLs. Now, with DS ACLs, this is a built-in tool that every single Windows domain controller has. So I'm going to go to my command prompt, and I'm going to go to DS ACLs. Now, if I just type DS ACLs, it gives me the full listing of the command, right? But if I type in DS ACLs, and then in LDAP syntax, I go to HR, OU equals HR, and then I use DC, which is not domain controller. It's nomenclature for LDAP for the domain name, and mine is AD Solutions, comma DC equals demo. I actually get a list of the ACL of the HROU. And here at the bottom, you will see that HD texts have reset password. HD texts have password last set, so they can change that the user has to reset their password at next logon, and they have send as. This is extremely powerful, okay? But what you need is you need the ability to know when these change so you can perform cleanup. Now this one gets a little bit more complicated. What I need to know is when that ACL changes. Well, AD Manager can't do that for me. That's where AD Audit Plus comes in. AD Audit Plus deals with changes, and I can get reports of when, let me see if I can find it, OU permissions change. Okay, now this is pretty awesome. Look at that. Today's the 9th. The HROU changed permission. And here is the detail of the ACL. Wow. That's pretty awesome. Now, wait a second. Was I notified? Because the notification is the important part. That's the automation piece, right? You want to automatically be notified. How about this? How about an alert? Look at this right here. August 9th, you get an email alert when something changes automatically so that you can be notified if this is correct or not, and then you can clean up what you have put in place or what someone else put in place. I mean, look at all these alerts here. So now we are taking this to a whole new level. The idea is AD Manager Plus can give us reports on all the different things that we need to clean up. We can schedule those reports, and we can use automation to take action where needed. For all of these actions, AD Audit Plus can inform us of when these things are happening. It's the full circle. As an administrator in Active Directory, if you aren't being notified of when things are happening, even with automated changes from AD Manager Plus, you don't know what's going on in the background. You have to be notified. You have to have a clear vision in real time when things are changing through alerts. Can these alerts be emailed to you? Absolutely. Look at this. Look at the power of these, right? Here's the OU ACL change. I can come in here and I can say, I want to email this notification to everyone that needs to know. With the right tools, the idea of AD cleanup goes to a whole nother level. You can be emailed when any of these objects change in any way, are deleted or modified, any of those. So by using AD Manager Plus, you have the actions, you have the reporting in an automated fashion. When any of those things are triggered, AD Audit Plus notifies you and the key members of your team on the fact that those things happened. None of this is available to this degree inside of AD users and computers. It just doesn't exist. Microsoft isn't in the game of cleaning up Active Directory and securing Active Directory. They're leaving that for you to handle on your own. And based on the number of attacks that we've had in Active Directory over the years, I think it's proven that we need something. So where do I suggest you go from here? Well, I'm going to send you back to our webpage, okay? If you go back to our main landing page, manageengine.com, and you select whether it be AD Manager Plus or AD Audit Plus, you simply click on it and you download it. You get a free 30-day trial. AD Manager Plus can be downloaded, installed, and configured in about 15 minutes. AD Audit Plus, the same time frame. So please take advantage of this. If nothing else, just go play with it. Go download it and take a look at it. I'm telling you, 15 minutes. Normally applications take anywhere from 45 minutes to 3 hours to download, install, and configure. These tools are 15 minutes. Spin up a VM, throw it on the VM. If you don't like it, wipe out the VM and you're done. The tools are so light and so easy. Please download them, install them, and try them out. If you have any questions, email me. Email my team members. We're more than happy to help you try to solve the problems that you're dealing with. And we'll be the first ones to say, hey, that problem that you're dealing with, our tool doesn't solve it, try this. Our main mission is to help AD admins and organizations running Active Directory. But we try to provide you tools to help you with that, okay? So take advantage of our blog, take advantage of the free white papers and other resources we have available for you, like the security hardening site. Please email us. Keep an eye out for us. We're going to have future webinars, future seminars, future user conferences. Keep an eye out for when we're going to be in your area. And with that, I don't see any more questions. I want to thank my team members for helping me out in the background. Without them, I couldn't do this as smoothly as I could. I want to thank you for your time. I know that your time is valuable, and for you to spend this time with us is really is exceptional, and we want to thank you for that. And until the next time, I'm going to let you get back to your job. And until the next time I see you on a webinar or I see you in person, for myself and everyone else on the AD Solutions team, thank you and have a good rest of your day.